Welcome to Caribbean American
SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American.
Greetings, folks. Welcome to Caribbean American News Media Platform. It is good to be here with you. I encourage you to share the live, tag a friend. This is not our regular broadcasting time, but we do have some developments that we need to follow. We would not be able to wait until our program on Tuesday, and so we're going to go right into our breaking in segment. At this time, we encourage you to share the live and tag a friend. I am your host for today, Garfield Oliver, sitting in here with you on the platform. A blessed good evening to good afternoon to all our viewers, and to those of you who are just sitting and relaxing after your Sunday lunch. Greetings to you, those of you who are with families and you have this platform on your television, on your device, and families are together. I want to greet everyone. I want to greet everyone this afternoon. So we do have some breaking news that we need to share some light on, bring some clarity to what is happening in the on the international stage that is targeted to the to many other countries of the world, and we're going to be having some open discussion this afternoon, and then we will open the lines to take your calls at 929-586-1821. But greetings to all our viewers here on Caribbean American News Media Platform. Again, welcome to all. Now, I know many of you are keeping your season of Lent, and you are having all your special fasting and everything else, but I would say, friends, that I do not keep Lent. I do not practice that. Some of you do, and I have great respect for you guys. However, I just want to say that we should not be just fasting for a small period of time. We should not be practicing self-control just for one season, and then we break loose as soon as that season is finished. We can't wait to get back to normal behavior. So I'm saying, let us sometimes forget about the double standard and the hypocrisy, and let us try to live as civilized human being all year long, all day, all week, friends, every moment, every hour. This is not just about a week or a month or a few days, but it is about us as a civilized society, respecting each other and caring for our brothers and our sisters. And so I bring again special greetings to all our brothers and our sisters on the platform. Very important that you share the live and tag a friend. Now, we have some information from the opposition leader, not from the opposition leader, Mr. Chastney, but an incident, I believe, that took place sometime today at a Catholic church. Let me just read my notes carefully. At a Catholic church in Grosile, and that happened this morning, today, the 16th of March 2024. I believe that the Prime Minister, Mr. Pear, and the opposition leader, Mr. Alan Chastney, attended a special service at the Catholic Church in Grosile this morning. It is said that the priests encourage the individuals to try their best to unite the nation and not to divide. And so Mr. Chastney, hearing the message, walked over to the Honorable Philip J. Pear extended his hands to him in a gesture of goodwill, Christian love, and support. And it is said to us here on our news desk that the Prime Minister refused the handshake of opposition leader, the Honorable Alan Shastney, and that is at a service today, this morning, there in Grosley. We are still trying to get some more confirmation of that incident, but based on what we are hearing, we saw videos of him approaching the Prime Minister, Mr. Shastney approaching the Prime Minister, but in the clip we did not see the hand gesture, so we look forward to more information on that. I did speak to the opposition leader, Mr. Alan Shastney, moments ago, where he did indicate that he, as a result of the message, he went over in good faith to shake the hands of the Prime Minister, and he did not do that. I believe that he made several attempts, I believe 2 attempts, to reach out to Mr. Pear, and he refused. And that heard it from the opposition leader himself, and we are hearing the same from eyewitnesses, those who were at the church there in Grosley, confirming that it did happen. The Prime Minister refused the handshake of the opposition leader, and we're going to be sticking on this story throughout the week so that we can highlight the defect, the hatred, the bitterness in the nation that need to be dealt with from the leadership of the country, as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm calling on the Prime Minister to it's time for you to lead, sir, and stop this petty, childish thing, and let's get to work. We have a lot of issues on our hand. One of them would be the United States of America and the leaked draft proposal that is on its way over to the White House as we speak. All right, so here we have something here. Philip J. Pear refuses to shake Alan Shastney's hand in church at a chilling display of political hatred. A chilling display of political hatred. And that is very sad, where I believe Pear is a Catholic, and today this is the season where they are fasting and they are, penitent and everything else. And it says a lot about our leaders, and it says a lot about going to church. You can't just go to church because it's a habit or because you just want to go to show that you go to church. You got to mean what you're doing. You got to go to church because you understand why you're going. And it's all about forgiveness, love. It's all about unity, togetherness as one people. So this type of rhetoric and this type of behavior should be condemned by all in the society. And if it was on Mr. Shastney's side, I would have done the very same in condemning such actions from our political leaders. I want to move over quickly before we get into our breaking news development on this platform. I want to speak on Mr. St. Rose and what took place last week in the media. I want to say, folks, it's time for a timeout on this matter. As I indicated to you, Mr. St. Rose is a St. Lucian. He is a member of our church, Seventh-day Adventist Church. The United Workers' Party, very close to my heart. I speak strongly in favor and have endorsed the United Workers' Party as the preferred party to lead St. Lucia. And my position is that I wouldn't call it a rock and a hard place, but I have to show love to the party, and I still have to show love to Mr. St. Rose as a brother in Christ. And so we do have defects, we do have faults and shortcomings, and therefore I encourage all to cease and let us just continue to move forward in love. The United Workers' Party is big enough to deal with these internal issues, and I call them internal and not external. So we look forward to conversations in the weeks to come. We look forward to dialogue. We look forward to Mr. St. Rose and the United Workers' Party leadership coming together and having discussions on the way forward. I do not believe that we have gone too far as a people where we cannot speak to each other, that we cannot reconcile our differences. So as far as I'm concerned, I am not going to have any major discussions going forward on I'm not going to stir up hatred and bitterness against him, but I would say that there are a number of errors that were made, and we look forward to Mr. St. Rose and the United Workers' Party having conversations in the interest of national in the interest of the nation, the people of St. Lucia, and also the United Workers' Party supporters who, as I indicated to him, would feel hurt as a result of what they're hearing and the apparent, what will appear to be certain jabs and attack at the party and at some of the supporters, calling them hacks and those things. So we do understand the response, how the people will respond. I did have conversation with Mr. St. Rose earlier this morning, and we spoke from our hearts, and I let him know that I am a strong United Workers' Party supporter. I stand with the party, and so there are differences, there are mishaps that can be discussed and can be dealt with behind closed doors, and I do look forward to reconciliation. I do look forward to this being behind our backs as a party, and we move forward for the good of the nation, because all will agree at this time that we need to get the Labour Party off the backs of the citizens of our country, our great country. And therefore, friends, we have a lot of major issues, like I warned you about, that will affect the nation, and they're coming fast and furious, and we got to spend every moment of our time speaking about them. These little distractions, folks, we should avoid them as much as we can, and focus on the development of our nation. As I said, I had conversations with Mr. St. Rose earlier in disclosure, and we did have a decent conversation, I must say, a very respectful conversation, very balanced, where we all look at the what could have done, what should not have been done, and going forward, where we can get to a place of unity, national unity. All right, so I know for many of you, you're hurt, and but I'll just beg you to take it easy, and let's not cause any more damage on either side, because we got a lot of work that need to be done. I'm not saying that you should ignore stuff and stifle your feelings or your emotions, but honestly, we need every effort, friends, every brain cell in dealing with these issues that are before us. All right. So we have here, folks, on Friday, I got some communications from some very influential individuals here in the United States and also in the region concerning leaked memos that came out of our State Department here in the United States. And to our surprise, we saw the names of St. Lucia, Dominica, and other countries on a list. They were in different categories and highlighted with different colors, such as red, orange, and yellow. And so we're going to have a discussion with them. And so we're going to go into some of the implications of that, of what is happening here. And let us look at the overall document in itself. Let's just read what is happening, what is going on. Let's just go, and we're going to do some online search live on the air, look at the State Department, what they're saying, and what we need to be aware of, the truth behind it. I saw a lot of individuals, especially on the Labour Party side, getting emotional about it, blaming the Alan Shastney, the United Workers' Party, the opposition leader, for where we are now. And I just want to say, you need to hold your horse. You cannot blame the United Workers' Party for warning you, alerting you on a situation that was out there already, that was danger, it was not pretty with the evidence and the facts that were out there against our CIP program in St. Lucia. So for us now to come and look back and say, well, it's you. Mr. Shastney and the United Workers' Party are not in government, and even in opposition, the United Workers' Parties, we were able to, at the beginning, by the way, let's go back to the beginning. Of course, Mr. Martinez won. He said, look, I have some stuff that you guys would want to see. Do you remember that? Yes, there was no big carrying on by the United Workers' Party or Martinez at the time. It was a letter of courtesy inviting you, come and see. I have some stuff that I believe it is of concern to your nation, your people, and you will want to look at it. And we saw where this gentleman was insulted, humiliated, and it's just aggravating. You know, they were just aggravating the guy and provoking the guy. And the more the guy is saying, guys, we have something here you need to watch, you need to have a look at. They were just insulting, propaganda. They were attacking the opposition leader of wanting to destroy the CIP program, want to destroy the country. And some of us who were speaking on the air, they said we are not patriotic St. Lucians and we want to destroy the country. And I don't know how we would want to destroy the country, folks, when we have we have a major problem. Some of us were able to have a look at the evidence. Some of us were able to listen to some of the evidence that were out there, and we are saying to you, look, there's a real problem. But you were busy assassinating some of us who were speaking on it, alerting you, and the more we say to you there is a problem, is the more you came after our mother, our cousins, our dogs, our color, where we were born. You threw everything at us, except speaking to us about the situation. You told us that you have a perfect program, everything was okay, and there is nothing to be afraid of except the opposition leader. You got to be afraid of him. You don't like your country. You want to destroy your country. And those were some of the talking points that were out there in the media during that period of time. I call it the period of disclosure, and it was very sad, my people. And do you remember, I don't know how many of you remember Mr. Martinez saying to us as a people, look, I withdraw the RICO lawsuit, but it is not over. I have submitted all these documents. I have submitted all the evidence to the State Department. I have submitted all these documents to the relevant authorities here in the United States, in Washington. I remember he said that I'm going to get this over to Congress, and we're going to, with the new Trump administration coming in, I'm going to wait and I'm going to submit all these information to the relevant authorities. Do you remember that, St. Lucians? Do you remember? And then we had this all rejoicing that, oh, Mr. Martinez, he was a fraud, a crook. You see, we told you that St. Lucia, the United Workers' Party and Alan Shastney, they just wanted to destroy the country. There was absolutely nothing to the CIP talk that they were talking about, the scandal, and it was just joke and nothing to see here. Look at them. They have eggs in their faces. And I remember some of them asking me, where is the class action lawsuit? Where is the class action lawsuit? And they were making a big mockery of something that is very serious, something that we should not have joked about, something that we should have approached with every effort that we have, every energy, every attention span that we have should have been placed on getting to deal with what was happening, what was being said. And these guys knew, St. Lucians, that there was a problem, there is a problem, that all is not well. All can never be well with CIP programs, folks. And then we saw where they had to revoke contracts from BMAX. We saw the hotel the Galaxy Hotel still not going anywhere. Monies can't be, we don't have any idea what was happening. We had leaked communications from the CIP program, and and it was just, this nation, as far as I'm concerned, were very confused with what was happening. And here we are, friends. Let me just pull this up quickly as we hear. We are here ad hocly, so things are just going to happen on this platform, and I want you to just stay with me as we have discussions on what is going on. So we saw I think it's the New York Times putting out a story on the possibility of countries like St. Lucia, Dominica, Zambia, and those countries, if after 60 days they have not made any correction to their programs, then we have a problem. We were privy to, let me just bear with me. Let me just pull up the screen here. I'm going to share my screen so that you, my brothers and sisters, can, okay, so here it is, can see what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to blow up the screen at some point so that you can just understand what is happening here. So for those of you who are viewing the screen, here we have, and this is live, this is the New York Times, and it is a very organized media platform here in the United States. The New York Times, they do not play with information. They verify their information properly before they come out. And this was these were leaked communications that were circulated. So I'm going to read it here. It says, draft list for new travel ban proposed Trump target countries. You have 43 countries. And this is actually a draft that is being circulated, and is a draft that is heading over from the State Department to the to Mr. Trump, to the administration over there in Washington, who will sign these documents, these proposals. I have no doubt in my mind, folks, that based on the track record of Mr. Trump, that he will sign these proposals. So I heard earlier some supporters, SLP supporters, are saying, you see, you see nothing happening. It's just, this is not true. This is just a fake. Nothing. This is not a fake, folks. This is not. I went over to and let me see if I can find it here. I went over to the State Department site, and the more I search, is the more this situation is popping up all over the place. It's popping up. And I don't think we can ignore it and get away from it. Here I find it again in the Indian Express. Let me just share it with you here again. Here it is, Indian Express. Let me blow it up. Let me blow it up for those who believe that this is Alan Shastney or this is the United Workers' Party. And by the way, it's time for us to start debunking these nonsense, because it is not helping the discussion. So let me remove the lower third so that we can see. So this is the Indian Express newspaper, and it is Sunday, March 16th. I believe that is today. Today is March 16th, 2025. And here is the headline: explained. Trump travel ban 2.0 to affect 43 countries, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. All right. And that is the headline over there in India, the Indian Express newspaper. So they explained the Trump ban 2.0 to affect 43 countries, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. All right. So it is a proposed travel ban And this is from since January the 20th. And it is Donald Trump, the executive order by Donald Trump, authorizing government officials to compile a list of countries for which vetting and screening information is so deficient as warrant a partial or full suspension of the admission of nationals from these countries. I'm going to read it again. So this is actually an explanation of the proposed ban that we are hearing about in the news. And this is, we are explaining it, taking our time, and going through this process so that you, the listeners, can understand what in the world is happening. So here it is again, and I quote, and this is from the Indian Express. The proposed travel bans follow an executive order by Trump on January the 20th, authorizing government officials to compile a list of countries for which vetting and screening information is so deficient as to warrant a partial or full suspension of the admission of nationals from these countries. And that's from the Indian Express newspaper. We saw in St. Lucia many of the media houses carrying live views or reporting on this travel ban. We saw many regional governments responding, almost repeating the very same thing. Whether it's the St. Lucian Prime Minister or the Dominican Prime Minister, all of them were repeating the same generated response. All of them, almost in verbatim, repeating each other. And so, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be showing you some of the response. We're going to be reading it, and I want you to come to the conclusion of what you think is happening here. But this is a draft, of course, and drafts can change. These things can change, but I personally am not expecting, I'll tell you the truth, in my humble judgment and based on my conversations with individuals here in the United States, I am not expecting any major change within this proposal anytime soon. Trump, he has a track record. We already see where he's going with his approach to immigration. He do not care whether you're from Canada, his neighbor, or you're from what he called an S-hole country. He don't care about that. All he cares about is himself, and I would add the security of the United States. I think he's concerned about the security of the United States, and even though we don't like Trump, he as a president, he got to protect the citizens of his country. And for little countries like St. Lucia, Dominica to be forming the fool, exposing these major countries to criminal elements that can fall through the crack in all the professional processes that they say they have in their country, but yet we are suspending BMAX contracts in Rock Hall, and we are suspending this, and we are revoking this and revoking that. It means that people are falling through the cracks. And the United States don't care whether it's one or two individuals. Anything that crawls through the crack and is a threat to the United States will respond, because St. Lucia and Dominica has nothing, or St. Kitts has nothing that the United States want. As a matter of fact, the United States can build their own islands, their own beaches, their own amusement parks. And yes, they have. So for you to think that you have so much muscles and flexibility to box by yourself with the United States while you're messing with their security and the security of their citizens, then I think that our governments need to get their heads checked. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that. So, let's look at some of the statements, my people. And let me say something. I am not here rejoicing about this because I am broken. There's no celebration here. There's nothing. There's no political mileage as far as I'm concerned to have it rumored that our citizens will not be able to travel to the United States. We have families in St. Lucia, cousins, neighbors, who need to travel for emergency, for medical, or to do business, or people who are looking for a better life. So there is absolutely nothing to celebrate about. I don't want to see, if I see any United Workers' Party supporter rejoicing over this, I will cry shame on you. Because this is not a football game we're talking about here, and you suspending the coach or a player. We're talking about an entire nation being affected. An entire nation. We saw one minister of government, his visa got revoked, and all hell broke loose. He went into depression. Can you imagine for regular citizens? If one minister can go into depression because of the revocation of his visa, what do you think about other people in the country? So it's much bigger than those boys. It's much bigger than those guys sitting there, beating their chests, drinking their wine, and eating all their pork. They are real people that will be affected. So I am not sitting here rejoicing on a Sunday evening. I can't. Not in good conscience. But I can say to you, while I would not sit here and just, say to you, well, I told you. Well, everybody told you. But were you listening? You were busy insulting, telling people about their mother and their cousins. And now you're scrambling all kind of statements. Everybody pointing, chastely, this one pointing over there. Everybody's pointing all direction. It's like they're going crazy now. Nothing else matters. All of a sudden, they're listening. All of a sudden, they're paying attention. When all they had to do is to strengthen what they're doing, change what they're doing, suspend and restart and all. All they had to do was abandon some of these players in CIP. Abandon them. There are other players out there that are playing clean. But no, stubborn, would lead a country at a precipice and try to pull it back at a precipice. And that's the leadership that we have. Create crisis, prolong crisis, and then try to deal with the crisis. And that's what is happening, folks. In a nutshell, that's what is happening. And that's why I sit here and have to drink supplement and everything else to keep me up. And this is real. So I'm not here rejoicing. I'll be an ignorant fool to do that. I'm here because I'm concerned. I understand the implications. I understand how dependent small countries are on these major world players. I understand that. And that's why, as a country, you got to choose your friends wisely. You got to choose your friends wisely. And that's why politics is not for fellas who are still acting like little girls or little boys. Politics is for big people. Politics is for people with their head on, who reason and think, and not emotional and radical and personal. Politics is not for hateful birds. Politics is not for what you would call jammets. Politics is for real people who have their head on, who can take the pluck, but still focus on the mission before them. And that's why we're here where we are today, because you have a whole set of square pegs trying to fit into wrong holes, and they have been trying to fit in for many years. And And you have been trying to force them into those square pegs. But you just can't get through, and what you get is a mess. So we're going to go into some of the statements. So I have a statement. And by the way, let me show you what is happening. Meanwhile, over in Dubai, I got a picture. I got a picture from my sources over in Dubai. Now, Caribbean American News, we have our stretch. We have our intel. I'm not going to expose them, of course. But we have, look, I'm going to show you this. Look, meanwhile, somewhere in Dubai, you know what we have here? Guess who? Lescan, Yongjin, Caribbean Galaxy enjoying St. Lucian's passports money in Dubai. Big smile and a table is spread with candles. In Dubai, long smile from one side of the face to the other. And guess what? You now got to deal with all the dirty laundries and the row between you and the United States. And while I would emphasize that what we saw in the Times, it is a draft that was leaked, we must also highlight that it is a draft that is on its way over to Washington for approval. If I read Mr. Trump well, he might add more names. He might just sit in his office and he might say, well, what about this one and that one? Put it, I want it, put it. And he gets it there. So to think that he's going to look down and he's going to see St. Lucia and Dominica and say, take these two countries off, I like them. They're beautiful, take them off. Possibility he will say, I want to buy them. I want to own them. I can put a nice big Trump hotel on the island and put on the Peter Trump Island. That's how the man sees things. But he's also looking at the security of his nation. And while you might not agree with him in his approach, he's talking about country first. Making America great again. And in his head, to make America great again, one, he got to protect his borders. He got to get bad people out, and some good ones out. And he got to squeeze his neighbors. Both enemies and foes getting squeezed. Friends, families, and cousins, everybody's getting squeezed under Trump. And the chickens are crowing loudly. Something is about to go sour. And while I'm reading, you know what, let's just go over to St. Kitts and Nevis while we're here. So St. Kitts and Nevis, we're going to remove the lower third and go quickly over there. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister, Regional St. Kitts government encourages U.S. after reports suggest possible travel restrictions. So he engages, what did I say? Encourage? No, St. Kitts government engages U.S. after reports suggest possible travel restrictions. So that is St. Kitts Prime Minister, because we know all the drama started in St. Kitts with Galaxy, and it ended up in St. Lucia because Galaxy ended up in St. Lucia. So you understand the connection, how St. Lucia got involved. St. Lucia got involved because Galaxy came over to the country. I stop for you to think about what I'm saying here. So let's go to a statement from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And by the way, let me bring it back. This statement was not on, I did not see it. Maybe it was there on the government website or on NTN or somewhere. Maybe it's over there. But I think this came out of his Facebook page. His Facebook, Mr. Pear's Facebook platform. Let's go over to it. And I quote from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia is confirming that it has received no formal communication from the United States of America, USA. On media reports by the New York Times and others alluring that St. Lucia is very tiny, folks, so I got to read it good. St. Lucia is included in a draft list of visa restrictions recommendations. I continue to read. The Honorable Philip J. Pear, Prime Minister of St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia and the St. Lucian Embassy in Washington, D.C. are actively seeking clarification on this matter. Media reports have proposed that St. Lucia is to be placed in a yellow category of countries which would have 60 days to address concerns. The U.S. is a friend of St. Lucia and remains a key partner in St. Lucia's development. We look forward to an even stronger relationship between our two countries. The government of St. Lucia will provide updates on any official communications related to this matter. Good try. But listen to this. St. Lucia has nothing, remember, that the United States wants. And one, if the United States is fighting Canada, who is providing them electricity, an allied, good supporter, family, friend, close, one border, one line separating them, big war, a small developing country like St. Lucia will not be able to stand against this administration, and that's what we got to figure out here. So let's go over to another some local chat out there, local chat, and this one I pulled out from, I believe it is Miss Alexander on the line. It says New York Times has a long history of publishing leaked memos and confidential documents from the White House and other government agencies. Let me put it over. I thought I had it over on the other screen. All right, we move the lower third and we're going to look at it. So I quote again, I'm reading from Soraya's page. And she says the New York Times has a long history of publishing leaked memos and confidential documents from the White House and other government agencies. The newspaper has broken numerous major stories based on inside information, including leaks related to U.S. foreign policy, intelligence reports, and internal political dispute. While leaks often come from anonymous officials or whistleblowers, the New York Times typically verifies the authenticity of documents through multiple sources before publication. However, like any other media outlet, it faces criticism and scrutiny, especially from political figures who may be impacted by the leaks. And I totally agree. So here is another statement. Now we're going through random statements from individuals on social media, and then we'll go back to the document that we are talking about. So here is another one again from Soraya Alexander. This is absolute garbage. Our Prime Minister, Philip J. Pear, is a real villain in this debacle. How can he let a critical 60-day window from January 20th, 2025 to March 21st, 2025 pass without taking any meaningful action to resolve our visa and security issues? Question. It is infuriating to see him sitting back while our nation's future is jeopardized. Instead of urgently addressing these problems, Philip Japere has chosen to waste time with pointless meetings and empty exercises, leaving our countries vulnerable. Even other officials are frantically trying to manage the situation. It is reckless inaction and slow pace that have led us here. If visa restrictions and sanctions are imposed on St. Lucia, it's on him to take full responsibility and step down. Enough is enough. Our country deserves a leader who actually delivers results, not one who drags us to the brink. Not one who drags us to the brink with his negligence. Unquote. And that is from Soraya Alexander. I just wanted to correct her on something that she wrote there. I don't know if she have other documents to support what she's saying, but the order was given to the agencies of government to look at countries. So I'm not sure if communications was given to them, say, look, you have 60 days or 20 days to get this fixed, or we're coming for you. I don't think that took place. I think what happened is that the agency, they did their studies, they would have communicated with the national security people, the homeland security people, other agencies of government, not only governmental agencies, but non-government agencies, and they would have looked at some of these countries who they would believe, based on their intel, are not following, proper security measures, whether it's with their passports or with any other thing in their country. And there's a lot of, and that's why you got to be careful on social media, friends. You got to be careful in your country when you deal with law enforcement, when you deal with justice in your country, when you deal with, police departments or other agencies in your country. The world is watching. They're always watching. There's nothing that falls in the Caribbean that the United States don't know about. So when we are here telling you to fix this and do that, and all you're telling us is you lose, then eventually it's going to be the people of St. Lucia who lose. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot have little children running your country. You got to have people who will grow up and not always be bitter over something that happened 4 years ago, 5 years, 20 years ago. They're still coming at you. That can't help with the development of the country. And so I am not sure, based on what I read from her, that they had time or he had any time, because remember, he never knows anything. The Prime Minister is always behind on information. He's the last to get crucial information, whether it's from Martinique or from any other, whether it's CIP or any matter in the country. He's always the last based on track records, and we go by track record, not besmirching him or lying on him. Most of you know that. He's always the last to know stuff and always will look it up and see, and I don't know. And maybe this is another case of it's there, but I don't know. Or I heard, but I don't know. I read it in January and I don't know. And those type of things. Because, of course, if you read something like a rumor in December or January, you'd want to call your closest office to Washington, of course, and that is the consulate office in Washington. You would ask your ambassador there to, Ambassador, look this up for me and send some information for me. Try to figure out for me what is happening here. Talk to some congressmen. Go over there to Congress and just let me know what is going on. I'm hearing this thing and I'm not too comfortable with what I'm hearing. And that's how you expect your leaders to, get to know stuff, be in the know. And you would expect those around them to tell them things that are important to the country, not to tell them, Garfield says something on this program about you, Miss Minister, or Shasney says something at the public meeting, or Marvin Charles say that, or Gregory, or this Miniva say that and write that on the page, and this kind of nonsense. You would expect them to tell you the things that really matters in the country. not those games that they're telling you about. No. So you never know about the things that really matters to St. Lucians. You always know about the things that matters to your party. And that's a problem. It is a problem. It is a problem. This time we want you to know, Mr. Prime Minister. And don't tell us like CIP that you will share information with us. You have not shared anything on CIP with us after you said you would share. Again, track record. So we are just speaking based on your track record, government. Information is always far from coming. You're always investigating and will get back to us. And we never hear anything after. That is how I describe you at this point, Mr. Prime Minister and your government. That's how the people see you. As one who never knows. But let's continue to make our rounds in the region. Let's go to the document here from I believe this is one of the official documents from the St. Lucia Times, and this is protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. And this is January 20th, 2025. This is from the State Department, actually, the State Department of the United States. And here is the draft. So they got the order actually January 20th, and there's already a draft with countries, a number of countries, over 43 of those countries that are on the list. Yeah. So some of these countries who are in red, they're different categories. So we have those countries that are in red are countries that will experience all travel banned. Every ban you can think of when it comes to travel to the United States. Red. Right up there we have countries like Afghanistan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Yemen, Sudan, Venezuela, and all these countries up there on the red. Now we have orange. Visa sharply restricted. Sharply. So you have the ban at the top, and at the bottom you have sharply restricted. So the red and the orange are two categories that you do not want really to find your country. You don't want to get yourself there. They're already in the red. There ain't much they can do or anything they can do to get themselves out of this situation. But here we have yellow. Yellow is a stage where the federal government, give these countries 60 days to get their act in order, or they will end up in one of the red or the orange category. So you have 60 days to make corrections, meaningful corrections, recommended corrections, before we can move you from yellow into orange or red. To be in orange or red, it is not good for any country. Visa sharply restricted or all travel ban, those categories, you do not want your country to end up there. Therefore, St. Lucia, based on the recommendation, the proposed draft, remember it's a draft, St. Lucians. And to have your name on a draft, it's bad too, because I don't want to be on any draft when it comes to the United States and restrictions. I don't want to be at any draft. And I can almost guarantee you that if we had paid attention to what we were being told earlier last year, we maybe would have not have been on this list at all. At all. So we have countries in the yellow, 60 days to address these concerns by the United States government. We have on the list Angola. That's number 1 on the list. And later down we have the Republic of Congo. We have Dominica. We go down to St. Kitts and Nevis. And then we have St. Lucia below St. Kitts and Nevis. So we have St. Lucia. We have St. Lucia making it on that list. And while they can say all what they want, St. Lucia is on the list because of the CIP program, period. There's no other reason why you're on the list. Don't tell me it's because you have Cuban doctors in the country. Yeah? Don't tell me it's because you have a good relationship. Angola. So don't tell me it is because you have Cuban doctors only that they're doing that. There is a security threat to the United States, and the United States is responding. So let's go over to Dominica, the Prime Minister of Dominica, and let's hear what he himself is saying about this situation. And the Prime Minister of Dominica, and I quote Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt, let's read. He says here, the government of Dominica wishes to clarify that it has not received any official communication from the United States regarding the draft list of 43 countries recommended for visa restrictions. Following media reports indicating that Dominica is on a yellow list and will be given 60 days to address certain concerns, the government has instructed the ambassador to the United States based in Washington, D.C. to make the necessary inquiry seeking clarification. Dominica values its long-standing and cordial relationship with the United States and is committed to strengthening the partnership. The government of Dominica will remain actively engaged in this matter and provide more information as it becomes available. So let's go back to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and tell me what is going on here in the statement. Are you seeing the same thing or not? Go back to St. Lucia. This is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia is confirming that it has received no formal communication from the United States of America. On media report by the New York Times and other blah, 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 St. Lucia is included in the draft list of visa restriction recommendations. The government of St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Embassy in Washington, D.C. are actively seeking clarification on this matter. Media reports have proposed that St. Lucia is to be placed in a yellow category of countries, which would have 60 days to address concerns. The U.S. is a friend of St. Lucia and remains a key partner in St. Lucia's development. We look forward to an even stronger relationship between our two countries. Yeah, St. Lucia and the United States is two countries. Yeah, the government of St. Lucia will provide updates on any official communication related to this matter. Dominica and St. Lucia. Now, you would think that, well, I'm speechless. I'll drink something and mind my business here. So let us go. I'm going to read your comments and open the lines for your call. I want to hear from you, the citizens of the country. Some of you have been so quiet. You need to we need to have a conversation. Let's go back to something here. Okay. It says here, such issues could include failing to share. I'm not sure where I'm reading this from, folks. Where is this? Is it from the Times or? Okay, I will get that rectified soon, but I'm going to quote from it. It says, such issues could include failing to share with the United States. Now, here are some of the reasons why the United States sometimes take these drastic actions against governments or countries. All right? Such issues could include failing to share with the United States information about incoming travelers, inadequate security practices for issuing passports, or the selling of citizenship to people from banned countries, which could serve as a loophole around the restrictions. The list officially said included Antigua, Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, so basically, St. Lucia, I'm trying to speak in a way that you guys understand what I'm saying, that you get the point here, is that the ban can be in effect because of some of these issues. Failing to cooperate with the United States when it comes to national security. Also, the issuing of passports, selling of citizenship to people from banned countries, which could serve as a loophole around the restrictions. So, this is something that we did discuss on this platform over and over again, St. Lucians and people from around the world. We have had these discussions before. We have had these discussions before. Now, I see a very important call coming in on our very important call from around the world. Folks, Shed a Live Tiger Friend, I'm going to try to hook this caller up from our other system. I see a number of calls coming in there. Just bear with me. Let's try to get this one up. Let's try to get this one up. Wait a minute. Just bear with me, folks. Share it live and tag a friend. We have a call that is dropping into our main system, and I'm trying to bring it over. And this is a call from a very important person when it comes to the CIP situation here. Tag your friend, folks. Let me just try to pull in this number from the other. Let me try to pull in the call from the other line so that you can hear what I have to say. All right. Bear with me, folks. Why is it not showing up here? Tag a friend. Okay. Good. Let me see here. Oh, great. So good. So we're going to be bringing in someone right away. Yes, Mr. Martinez, welcome to the platform. I just saw you on the other line and I wanted to bring you over to the main system. Happy Sunday to you, my brother. Thank you so much for accepting the call.
Happy Sunday to you, Brother Garfield. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Mr. Martinez, we are looking at something that we were warned about by you from the beginning, and we are seeing some proposals here from the government of the United States, and I personally am more concerned about what is happening. Could you give us some clarity?
Yes, I think that you were right to explain to your audience that this is not yet official policy of the United States government. This is a draft that has been leaked by, I guess, someone in the State Department to the New York Times. Now, for the New York Times and Reuters and Newsweek to publish this article is because their source must be very solid. But it is not yet. Now, the part that you just read, okay, is part of the New York Times article, meaning one of the reasons that these Caribbean countries are on that list is because the CIP issue, okay? So this is not good. I've been warning everyone for a year about this. I've been warning everyone that dark time will come if the politicians of the Caribbean stop pretending they don't know. Now, we withdrew the RICO lawsuit, which was the nice outcome for them because it was targeted at certain individuals. Okay? Now, as you know, they have interpreted our withdrawal as a victory and it's over. And I've said publicly that we have the evidence and, you know, Brother Garfield, a miracle happened 2.5 months ago. We have been battling with Bank of America for over a year to receive the bank transaction of the Caribbean leaders and Caribbean Galaxy. And for 1 year, they refused to give us. And by the grace of God, about 2.5 months ago, we received all the transaction.
Whoa, that's
hundreds of millions of dollars of transaction, which of course confirm what I've been saying. And of course, I have remitted them to the U.S. Department of Justice and to Homeland Security because these people have insulted me to hide what they've done. Well, let them insult the United States government because bank transactions don't lie. Okay, Chinese infiltration do not lie. Fake due diligence company do not lie. Now, the United States is saying, hey, you can sell your passport, but you're going to be transparent. Does anyone believe that these people are transparent after the invitation that we gave them to come to DC and look at the evidence? Well, now we don't want them to come. We don't want to talk to them anymore.
Wow.
We have no reason to talk to them anymore. Now it's between them and the U.S. authority. And I believe that this is a very serious problem, right? And that for them to think that they have to choose. They have to choose. They want to keep the Chinese agents like Galaxy and Yingjing. You know, they don't listen. Like I said, we have the bank transaction of all of them, and that's it.
So right now you have TD Bank and Bank of America, which was passed on to the government of the United States.
Yes, sir.
Wow, this is something.
Yeah, and that's God punishment to these people. I received that 2.5 months ago. Hundreds of millions. And by the way, not just for St. Kitts and Nevis, for other Caribbean countries as well.
And that includes St. Lucia.
Sir, my American lawyers are handling this, okay? They have transmitted everything to the U.S. authority, but if they know, I mean, is that normal that ministers have millions of dollars offshore, and is that normal that they have real estate offshore in the Middle East?
So you're saying that government ministers have these accounts overseas?
What I'm saying is that it's in the hands of the U.S. authorities. I have warned these people for a year, right, to stop the corruption and the fraud and money laundering with the Chinese. God is my witness that I want them to stop for a year. And you, sir, are my witness as well,
yes,
because I came on your show and I told several times.
Yes, I am.
So now, let them do talk to U.S. law enforcement. Let them talk to the U.S. Department of Justice. Let them talk to the U.S. Congress. That's all I have to say. And they should better hurry for the good of their people. Because, you know, it's nice to have the poor people being victimized while they have a lot of money offshore.
Wow. But Mr. Martinez, I want to ask you, do you believe that this draft will make it to President Trump?
Oh, I can tell you for a fact that all government agencies at the highest level are aware of this situation. This I can tell you for a fact.
And we see that the Donald Trump administration, he's not playing when it comes to national security, the security of his country. We may not like him, we may like him, but he has a responsibility as the president of the United States to protect the people of this country, of this nation.
He has a responsibility to protect his country. If you guys want to sell, if the Philippe Gépierre administration wants to sell 50, I mean, they've already sold 50,000 passports to the Chinese. That's his choice. Why does America has to carry that weight to have them coming to the United States with a St. Lucia passport? Is that fair, Pastor Garfield?
No, it can never be fair. And I stand with Mr. Trump in protecting the nation from all these loopholes that we have created in the Caribbean, where individuals can be banned in one country from the United States, and all they have to do is have the money, buy a passport, and have access to the United States to do harm to them.
Yeah. And where is the money?
And where's the money?
Don't worry. I know where the money is, and the U.S. government knows where the money is. That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you.
And what we've done, over the past 3 months is confidential, and we're going to keep it confidential.
Yeah, and I do agree, because this can become so political, and we can get it mixed up in a lot of other things.
This is not a Chastenet versus Hilaire or Philippe Gépierre issue. This is a national security issue for the United States, right? And they can call me all kind of names. Let them go to Washington and look at the bank transaction. I repeat it. Let them go to Washington and face the bank transaction from Bank of America.
Wow, so we can look forward. So we have some very rough days ahead of us when it comes to the region.
And let me tell you something. I have provided to the government in St. Kitts the corruption money of Lescan, and they've done nothing. So I am not providing anything anymore to the Caribbean countries I have provided everything now to the U.S. government. So they better get their act together and stop with their bullshit.
Wow.
I apologize for the language.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Wow. So we will continue to follow these breaking developments, because I was saying to the public that Mr. Trump is not bluffing, and if there's a draft, if I understand his pattern, his way of operation, he's going to push that thing forward.
Why would the U.S., China has installed a spy-based operation in Cuba. Why do people, I understand that you guys love Cuba, that's your prerogative, and that's fine. But why would the U.S., you have to understand the U.S. position. They know that China is installing a bunch of spy operation over the Caribbean and in Cuba, and you expect America to do nothing? It's time to wake up. Thank you, Mr. Garfield.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martinez. Thank you so much for being here with us. All right, folks, that was, wow. I was not expecting Mr. Martinez to call, to tell you the truth. And
from selling a few bottles a month to transforming
that, I don't know what to say. And it gets very rough for me to have this discussion, folks, because we were here before, and we had these conversations, friends. Not that we did not have the conversation, not that we did not know what was happening. We were here before. And here we are again. And now we have breaking news development on this platform today. You heard it for yourself. That Mr. Martinez and his team finally got the last set of statements from the bank concerning your money, the people's money in the region. And now we're hearing that all that is in the hands of the United States government. And now we are seeing a proposed draft that was leaked to the Times. As a nation, it is time for a reset. I keep saying that to you. And that's why government have a responsibility to speak to their citizens, share information with their citizens, and I would also get I am upset, to tell you the least, to say the least. We need to have an information act there in St. Lucia where the people, when government make decisions or do transactions on behalf of the nation, that those informations are available to the general public. This secret thing, it's time for it to stop. The only secret thing that I believe that we should have in our country is when it comes to national security and blah, 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 blah. Fine. But if you're going to sign a deal, especially with governments on the world stage or actors on the world stage, I believe that we got to share as much information as we can with the citizens of the country. We cannot celebrate what is happening here. This is not a matter of celebration. And And while many of us can say, I told you so, we warned you, it has gone so far. It is no longer a RICO lawsuit when it comes to CIP. It's no longer a RICO lawsuit. With all the celebration, I told you he was a fraud. I told you he was a fraud. I told you. It was never a joke. It was never meant to be a joke. A matter of fact, I would go on to say to you, St. Lucians or people in the region, it was never meant to be a political football either. Because the security of a world power was being compromised by a small country or small countries in the region, carelessly greedy or recklessly greedy, not even weighing stuff. You know, they said, well, this is a sovereign country. We said to them, the United States has a problem with Russia. I remember at the time we said the United States has a problem with Russia, so you want to be careful with issuing passports to Russians. Mr. Healy said, we are a sovereign nation and we can choose who we want. They can't dictate to us, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? That was a careless statement, of course. Because if he understood the implications of one passport being given to a Russian or one passport given to a terrorist goes into the United States and kill thousands of people, and then we find out that it was a CIP office in St. Lucia who issued a passport, then that is much bigger than Mr. Healy, of course. And it's much bigger than your grandmother who needs a US visa, or it is much bigger than free travel back and forth into the United States or the region. Oh, it would have been much bigger than that. One passport can shut the world down. One passport. Let's talk about our friends, see? Friends, well, your friends are saying to you, it is time to dance to the music that you're playing. Grab your dancing shoe. Let's get to work. And so the government of the United States have threatened the region. We will revoke your passports, your visas, sorry. Because we are concerned about certain practices in your country, in the region. Oh, my friends, we are in a very unique situation. And I would officially announce that this is the world in crisis. And when you have these, what I would consider self-inflicted crisis, what a web it is. That instead of dealing with the issues, a government wish the issues away and hope that the issue with time would fade and people will forget, because we know how people react. They move on to the next fight, the next juicy story, the next Chastney story, or the next Philip J. Perry story, and we move along. And all the major issues are packed on a shelf, hoping that it will gather dust. And maybe we would have died, we would have moved on, and somebody else will got to deal with it. Not I, but somebody else. This national security disaster will test or put this administration to the test. then we shall know what true leadership is all about. We are very late on true leadership, of course. We should never have been on the brink. Never. Now let's read this again. So here are reasons why the United States government would act a certain way when it comes to your access to the country. Issuing passports or selling citizenship to people from banned countries, which can serve as a loophole around restrictions. And we know most of these players, a lot of these players who are seeking our passports in the region, are trying to get around the United States. They try to get around the United States. And they don't care whether they sink your country and get their will, because they know that as a nation, we don't have a lot of leaders with vision in our region. We don't have a lot of leaders who are saying, look, man, we got to make this country, we got to get this country to a point where we can survive on the resources around us and in our country. Whether it's the fish in the ocean, our seawater, the fruits in our trees. We got to be able to survive on what we have. Instead, we are with our hands out. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And when you are in a position where you have to depend on outside to gimme, 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 then what you get is a lot of, before I give you, you better go and do. And here's what you got to do in order to get the gimme, gimme, gimme. And instead of our government focus on these major storms that are before us as a nation, they are busy calling the leader of the opposition white, enemy of the state, blah, 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 diamol, one runs out of breath online, never discuss these major issues, trying to prove that there is no issues. And the only issue is Alan Shastner. You listen to some of them, and you would swear the only issue in the country is Mr. Alan Shastner's skin color. You listen to a lot of them. You would think that the major issue in the country is a police officer who was transferred from one place to the other. What they call promoting. Folks, the number to call this platform is 929-586-1182, and somebody's trying to get me from the other line. You would not be able to get me there. So bear with me. Let me just get a message over to this person. The number is 929-586. So the number, the lines are open, folks. You can call. You can call. The lines are open. Let's have a conversation. So we showed you earlier where the money gone. It's in Dubai, where government ministers and in the region have their assets, money sitting in Dubai. Oh, what a shame it is, friends. While your families die on the hospital bed, this person is still trying to get me on the same number. So I'm going to send the message again. You call at this number. Calling you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me loud and clear, Brother Garfield?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I want solutions to understand what's on our doorsteps insofar as those proposed restrictions, and St. Lucia is out of one of those 46 countries. That has serious repercussions for our visas. St. Lucians who would want to go to the US embassy to get visas, they will no longer be able to do that. So those of you who have relatives in St. Lucia who may want to come and visit you in the United States, if this passes, which I am strongly suspecting or believing that it will pass, because the Republican Party have both the majority in the Senate and in the lower House of Representatives, you are in serious trouble. It has repercussions and consequences for our corresponding banking. So that if you have to make wire transfers to your relatives back home in St. Lucia, God forbid, I'm saying God forbid because it's a scary situation. If this thing passes, which again, realistically looking at it, it will pass, you will be affected. And so you would expect that the Philippe Pierre, the leader of the country, would have an address to the nation, because this is crisis, whether you want to admit it or not, and it's not red or yellow.
No.
It is crisis. The future, that can affect our tourism product. You understand what's happening there, Brother Garfield? I don't think those St. Lucians in the little rural communities understand what is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
It affects the little remittances that you and I will send for our relatives back home. That can be affected. Mm-hmm. There's a ripple effect. And so we need to educate, and I think we should have a program solely focused or concentrated on the Creole aspect of it, so that the people in the little communities in Derry-Sou and Soufre and Choiseul can understand what's at stake for our country, St. Lucia. Mm-hmm. And you would expect that list came out yesterday or Friday, that the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, would have called an address to the nation and give the population of the country some kind of assurance that, look here, something will be done or some things will be done. But no, you put out a copy and paste Facebook release or social media release, copy and paste, and trying to say, oh, you have not gotten anything official. The New York Times is a reputable news outlet in the United States of America. They do not give out information if it's not credible. Mm-hmm. Remember, they have the reputation as a media house or media outlet in the United States at stake. So you find when they give out those kinds of information, it is reliable. It is factual. It can be easily verified. The information we've seen is all over. Do you know? Are you aware, Brother Garfield? That has reached even on the media in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, it's around the region.
Yes, I saw a news item on CNC3, which is one of the most popular television news outlets in Trinidad, mm-hmm. about this whole visa travel restriction. Our tourism product will be affected. It will be affected because this list is all over on the internet. So now tourists would want to visit St. Lucia will have doubts, because they'll say maybe why this country is on this kind of list. Maybe it's dangerous to visit, and they'll be questioning themselves: should I visit St. Lucia? Is it safe enough to come to St. Lucia? You understand the gravity of the situation, St. Lucia, Brother Garfield? Mm-hmm. We have a jokey government called the St. Lucia Labour Party. It's a sad day for our country. It's really sad, and we were warned. Mr. Felipe Martinez won St. Lucians. Alan Chasney, the leader of the opposition, warned St. Lucians months ago on the Labour Party that, look, if you do not handle that CIP program properly, which is festered with corruption, these are the consequences that will happen. But they don't listen. They ridicule him. They say Martinez is a fraudster. Alan Chasney, where's the evidence? Alan Chasney is teaming up with Martinez to destroy St. Lucia. All kind of stupid rhetoric that came out from the operatives, the hacks of the Labour Party, and the leaders of the Labour Party. Now the reality is there on our doorsteps. The information is there. The chickens have come to roost, and that we are in serious trouble, deep trouble. Have a blessed weekend, Brother Garfield.
Thank you so much, Ian. Yep, that was our brother there, Ian, cauldron, and he's absolutely right. We need to pay attention, and I know people get very upset when you ask the Prime Minister to speak to the nation, especially on these matters of national security, of importance to the people, and you will get, well, what do you want him to say? But a lot of people don't read Mr. Pear's Facebook page, and I think it's a statement that should be out there on an official government page, letting the citizens know that we are aware and that we're doing our best to try to figure it out, to understand what this proposal is all about and what it means for us as a small country. And I am not saying that, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not looking and he's not trying to figure it out. But let's just get this call. Caribbean American News Media Platform. You're on the air, caller.
Yes, sir.
Caller, you on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, you're here. You're on the air.
Brother
Go ahead.
Garfield.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Not bad at all.
I am a major flabo. But as if with what's going on there, as if I don't even want Shasney to win because I know what he's going to get.
Yeah.
When Labour leaves, Shasney will be in the shit. So in a way, I don't even want him to win.
Oh, you're afraid for him?
Not afraid, but if he wins, I just know what he's going to get into.
It's a lot of
and
problems.
they will be out there rejoicing, and he has to do all the work to get things back on track.
Well, somebody got to do the hard labor of lifting St. Lucia into a place where it can, survive. And
that's true.
You need tough leadership.
I'm afraid for him.
Don't be afraid. You need a leader with a steady hand.
Afraid in the sense that he's everything will be on his back.
Well, everything will be on his back.
Yes,
everything. And I believe he has the ability to fix it, especially matters dealing with stuff on the international stage. We saw him on CNN, on BBC. We saw him interacting with major world leaders. And we see him jumping on planes and rushing to deal with urgent matters.
He's capable of all of that.
Right, he is. So I would say we need to get someone there that can address the nation, speak to the people, in a professional way, and don't be afraid for him. You continue to encourage your people to go out there and vote.
I sure will.
Yeah, but it's your first time calling.
I just don't want my man to get into that shit if he wins.
Well, I want him to get in. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I want him to get in and do a lot of work. And if Mr. Shasta is not ready for all the work, then he will tell us, look, I ain't dealing with this matter. I'm gone, Yeah, but somebody will have to deal with it. Somebody will have to deal with it. And I would say not the same.
Has to deal with it.
Not the same individuals who have caused the mess. What is, nope. But you are a new caller, right?
Very new. I'm calling from Soufrière, St. Lucia, Soufrière.
Oh, my friend. So thank you so much, our brethren over there in Soufrière. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the call. Keep calling.
You're welcome. I listen every Tuesday night.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Appreciate it a lot.
And I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Loud and clear. And very soon we will be on radio, so you might be able to tune into your radio and hear us. Yes. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, Brother Garfield. You take care.
Blessings. Thanks. Okay. All right, so that was one of our viewers there in Soufrière, and she said, she it's not that she's saying she don't want him to win. She's just concerned of the workload that would be on him, and that's why I'm taking the opportunity right now to say to the those candidates who were selected, if you're not ready for this, you have a good time this is a very good time to step out, because this is not a time for Saga boy and Saga girls and steaks and caviar and wine and all the fancy stuff. This is a season of workers. We don't want to have time. We don't want to waste time in cleaning up nastiness from politicians and some politicians, out there, running people's wives and women and doing nastiness in our nation. We don't have time for that. We want individuals who are focused, who can go out there on day one and support Mr. Chastney in his service to the nation. So I would say to you, get out now. Here is the opportunity. Get out now.
Brother Garfield.
Go ahead, my friend.
Good day, Brother Garfield. Good day, Brother Garfield. Good day, Brother Garfield.
Good to hear your voice.
Brother Garfield, it is such a testament when I speak on your platform, because I know you're a pastor and you believe in faith and you believe in not giving up.
Yeah.
And for me, I never give up on my quest.
Yeah.
When I told you what was necessary for complete change and instant change, when I was always speaking on protests, peaceful protests with a meaning, to force this government we have right now to call early elections. And you saw what happened in Roseau a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just a testament to tell Alan Chastney that we are ready. You understand? I called your show recently. I told you that people will be taking a stand. I have already taken the stand. There are thousands of me. I'm just the voice of the voiceless, but they are not voiceless anymore. You understand? What you saw there in Mikud, in Roseau, excuse me, Mikud will have one as well. What you saw there in Roseau was just a tip of the iceberg. We sent a message not to only the government, but to the United Workers' Party. In other words, gear up, get ready, because you know what? Trump has already put visa restrictions on our beloved country.
No, not yet.
We are missing well, not yet. It is there already it is already in the atmosphere. So there's already information. Information is in the air. So it's already there. And it is for this present government, Philip J. Pierre government, to do what they have to do to alleviate that situation. But the problem with that, my brother, is that we already have a problem. There's maybe over 300 different countries in the world, and happily we end up on that list. And that is a sign of negligence. That is a sign of disrespect by the Philip J. Pierre administration, like I always been telling you. Billions of dollars have been gone missing. We have those guys fought. Those guys lied and said that the RICO case in America is done and finished. What they didn't know, the case has been passed on to a different department. And that department right now is taking action in terms of warning us, giving us an advisory that they have 60 days to come up with a solution. And that solution is do what they're supposed to do, do the due diligence, get the billions, and give the solution people their money. And not only that, but be accountable for all the wrongdoings that they have been doing over the years. So my thing is, brother, it will always be that. I'm very proud because, it comes like deja vu for me because I've been speaking on action. And the Roseau people, it didn't even take less than 48 hours, thousands of years. You know how many years we've been waiting to see who was Rain Girard, my brother?
Yeah.
You know how much thousands of years we've been waiting for who is Rain Girard that representing Kennedy's Ancillary and Jackman, those areas? And it just took 5 minutes just to put a car, an old vehicle in the road, some burning of tires, and said that no alcohol is leaving, no alcohol is coming out. Rain Girard up here, tractors up here, the road is fixed. You understand?
Wow.
So far less. Yes, you didn't see the video?
Yeah,
as soon as my brothers and sisters and the young people in Roseau took action by shutting down that road, most of the solutions are depending on Ramon de Bounty. So, we shut down that area there. Nothing is coming in, nothing is coming out. Whether it's a private road, whether it's a public road, my brother, it is the government duty. It's basically a public road, probably on a private property. But at the end of the day, it's a main road, so especially for the brewery, because that is the only brewery we have in the country, you understand? And it was, it was a very strategic place to do that, because we hit a part of the economy that they never expecting us to hit, which is alcohol. So you know the brewery have Bounty, it have Chairman's Reserve, it have the Marigo Bay and all those different rums. Everything shut down. And immediately, when Gerard come on the ground, walk through the community, send the tractors, send the trucks, the road is fixed. You understand?
This is just a game in this country, yeah?
It's not just a game. Because remember, you told me I'm inciting violence when I speak on behalf of the people that I was speaking on before. You remember I told you? You remember you told me that just a few days ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they said.
Today now you see it. Was there any violence?
None.
Was there any police or anybody to come and stop it, or did it turn any violent way or anything? No.
Nope. You got your road fixed.
That is what I'm telling. That is what I was telling Alan Shastney when he called your show and the hierarchy of the United Workers' Party. We had over 20,000 people in a hole in Derrinoff when we could have those 20,000 people on the streets, shutting down the country, telling those guys to call off early election. You see how fast they went because we just target just a section of the economy, the rum, the drinking of rum. That cost millions of dollars just for that little time it was shut down. You understand? Mm-hmm. So my thing is, my brother, it's not that we speak in violence. It's not that we are pushing anything like that. We are calling for peaceful resolutions to our problems, because it is clear that this government do not know what it is doing. And even if when the United Workers' Party come into power, it will be an uphill situation for us to change the situation that is on the ground. What we are facing, whether it's internationally or internally, but internally it is it is a very dire situation internally, because we have a situation where we have no society anymore, my brother. The love we have for one another, it is gone. I have love for you. I have love for them. I have love for many people. But generally speaking, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of remorse, there's a lot of revenge, because a lot of killings been happening. That is revenge. Yep. When you have a scar on your skin, that's one thing. But when your brain is scarred, that is another thing.
Another thing. Yep.
To have a scar on your brain like a death of a loved one, and you're seeking retribution, you're seeking revenge. That goes beyond all measures of your comprehension of just being a civil a member of society. Because when you really calculate it, my brother Garfield, there's a thin line between sanity and insanity. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yep.
There's a very, very thin line between you being a sane person and an insane person. It just takes somebody to push you over that edge for you to become insane, for you to do things that you never thought that you have been done, for people to push you in positions that you never thought you would be pushed into. And then now you have to react to remove yourself from that situation, or to react to a situation. So it is not just a socio problem. It is an economic problem. It's a healthcare problem. It's a systematic problem. When you say reset, I'm talking of a new constitution, a new beginning. We will not have when I talk about a new independence, it's not February 22nd anymore. When all solutions figure out the date for our new independence and our new constitution, it might be a different month, because we have to bring in something new. We have to have a new point of view, a new way of looking at the world, a new way to speak and to love and to organize with each other, to build a greater country, not just for my generation, but the generations after. And one thing I can tell you, Brother Garfield, if I die today or something happened to me tomorrow, my voice is on your radio show. It will live on.
Yep.
Because what I preach and what I speak of, it is truth. And the Roseau people showed that it is possible to stand up and make a change. And what the guy told you on the news, if you look at the DBS News World clip, there was this specific guy, which is my good friend. Mm-hmm. He said every community should do the same for what they are facing in their community. You understand?
Yep.
And this is where there's no option for the St. Lucia Labour Party. I wish the hierarchy of the St. Lucia Labour Party is hearing my voice. There's no option for y'all. Call an early election. Dissolve your parliament. Y'all finish. There's nothing for y'all anymore. Y'all have destroyed everything. Philip you have failed on all levels and all fronts, especially, Labrie, right? They call it the Republic or the Republic of Labrie. You have destroyed that. Where is the external minister for foreign affairs in this situation that we have in?
Yes,
no problem, my brother.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. So the lines are open. We have some calls here that we need to follow up on. Okay, let's bring this one in. Once you call and we miss you, we will reconnect with you.
Hello.
Calling you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Yes, good afternoon, Brother Garfield. Nice to have you all.
Thank you.
Nice to have you all here. I just called to give a little my 2 cents in regard to the draft on the visa. You know, the thing about it is the government spends so much time in bringing down Alan Chastney and calling him all sorts of names, and also to Mr. Felipe Martinez, calling him a fraud for all this, but they did not take time to investigate or take the time to look into what he was saying.
That's right.
Right? And Uncle Shaz did warn them. But here you have Sean Edward and Ernest Hilley calling Alan Chastney enemy of the state and enemy of progress. But what Alan Chastney was trying to say to them, please check what you all are doing. Stop what you all are doing. So I'll have my visa, and if it happens that we get our visa revoked or we have the restrictions or sanctions or whatever that is proposed, the government has to be blamed. The St. Lucia Labour Party has to be blamed.
100%.
Right? And yes, because they are sitting on their behind, not doing anything. And the Prime Minister is always saying, I don't know, I heard, I don't know. But he's not making the effort to investigate, to ask, to check on see whatever that is being said out there, it is true. I don't know whether they're doing that, but the information is not out there.
That's right.
To say to people, oh, we are looking into it. But it is like, I don't know. He never know anything. Yep. You understand? Yep. So their backs are against the wall, because the intention when they get into power is to take Alan Chastney out, and yes, they succeeded by any means. However, they do not know how to govern. And because their campaign was on lies and propaganda, they are stuck. So heritage, be careful what you ask for. They have it there, so let me see what they're going to do. And I'm hoping that will happen. But I'm saying to the government of St. Lucia, if my visa is taken away, it will be on you all. So you all better do what you all have to do and make sure that don't happen. If you all have to have the meetings and organize yourselves and do something, dialogue, because this is what it's supposed to be. Find out what the problem is. But you see, CIP again, because Shas warned them. But no, enemy of the state, enemy of progress. Shas is this. You see, Shas is a very smart individual. And he has so much information, he will not give it out. But the little piece he was giving out there, they were not smart enough to connect the dots. But they are there wasting their time and try to bring Chastney down so that he will not get back into power. Woe be unto them. That's the problem. Thank you.
Thank you
have
so
a good
much.
afternoon.
You too. Thank you for calling. All right. Thank you so much. So we have another call that we're expecting. Let's try to bring it into the system. Just bear with me. Okay, I'm going to all ask the individuals to call back because I believe we're having some. I'm having a jam here on the system in responding to your call. So please call back. Those of you who were trying earlier, the number is 99-586-1821, and we are looking at the draft that is out there that was leaked from the State Department to the New York Times concerning the potential restriction to 43 countries in the world, including a 60-day window for small countries, I believe 2 small countries like Dominica and St. Kitts, maybe a few more, to get their house together to make some adjustments to the way they operate. And some people are saying it's about the Cuban doctors, it's about Cuba, it's about CIP, it's about the security of the United States. And both CIP and I believe the Cuba situation is weighing down, on this. Call you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Sir Garfield Sobel, good evening to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Greetings to you. Happy Sunday to you.
Yes, thank you, bro.
What's on your mind?
Man, what's on my mind? Got so much on my mind. I can talk short. Let the people get a chance to talk. Let me say this to you, man.
Talk to me.
We got so much to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna take the whole show.
Right. Thank you.
I want to hear the people.
Yeah. Talk to
the
me.
bottom line. The bottom line is this: that communist SLP, but who's gun zombie government, is too damn arrogant. That's the bottom line. They're too arrogant. They're too dishonest. Okay? All the above. There's nothing good about them. And they think that they're big shots. They cannot roll with the big boys. They want to roll with the big boys. They want to call shots. They can't call no shots. They can't call no shots. There's just a little chicken there. Not even that. They were warned. They were warned. They were warned by England. They were warned by Europe. They were warned by America. They were warned for their arrogancy.
Yep.
Especially for that man, Hilaire and Pierre. They even went as far as calling Hilaire public enemy number 1. Public enemy number 1. Could you imagine that? Coming from St. Lucia? That's a big, big stain, you know.
It is, yeah.
After Madam Julia Alfred put us on the map, you know, man. They come on mad nasty up everything. No, hey, you're talking about they got this guy that's called all the time about protesters and stuff.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with the man 100%. You cannot talk to these SFP, that bogus guy don't listen to nobody. Talk not working. You gotta give them action and action and action and action and action. The more you talk, the more they don't care. Gaffney, you don't understand. The guy is right. The more you talk, the more they're doing bad things. The more they insulting you. They don't give a damn. They think that we all know they're slave masters. I never thought I would see slave masters in my life. But the Mogul's gang, they are slave masters. And every one of them, I have a feeling that every one of them are multi-millionaires. Every one of them.
You feel so?
I feel so. This guy to Castle just walk in there in 3 years and he's a multi-millionaire. What do you think about pay and the rest? What do you think about pay and the rest? If I think so, I said earlier, a few years ago, I said, history is about to repeat itself. To the Bohemian government. You remember I mentioned the late Sir Lyndon Pinlin?
Yes, you did.
I told you, they were the only government in the world that all the ministers were multimillionaires. All the ministers.
Yep.
And you know who got them out of power? They were doing that. They were doing just like what the Mongoose gang is doing there. The only thing there was no CIP around at the time. But they were doing all the above.
Yeah.
And you know what get them out of power? The Americans had to put pressure on them.
Yeah.
The Americans. They're waiting for drug trafficking and everything. The Americans put the pressure on them. And then we hear this now. The people of St. Lucia, and not only the people of St. Lucia, the people of the Caribbean, Peter pays for Paul because of the stupidity and the ignorance and the arrogance of that Bogus gang, that jumpy government, that SFP. First of all, SFP has never produced a good leader. Never in history. And this year will be 74 years since the formation. And they've been in power, especially the last 20 years. They've been in power probably about 16 or those years. 20 or 25 years. Some will just vote for rats. That's what they are, a bunch of rats. They got one in there that's decent, not one of them. Could you tell me one, Sagari? Could you tell me one of them that's decent in there? Tell me name one. Huh? You cannot name one, and that's very sad. That's very, very sad. No. You imagine Haley and Kendrick and those guys talking about the great man, so Allah Michael Shafty. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? That tells you alone how they like to disrespect the intelligence of solutions. The great man is a class by himself. I think there's one man that could turn over this thing that's going on now. If there's one man that could do it, it's the great man. That's why I told you the other night. He's a commodity. He's respected one over. Even his enemies overseas, if he has any. Respect the man. Because he's a genius. He's a wise guy. He's a prophet. You know that? He is. I haven't forget the price, you know. That man, AEC, man. Do you know that man? The great man is called to the IMF and the World Bank for meeting. He proved the World Bank and the IMF wrong.
Yes, I heard that. Yes, I did remember that.
Gary, when they come on the air and say something, I know what I'm saying. You know? I know what I'm saying. The man's just a class act. The man's a class by himself. And it's a shame that he got to be there. He got to be in parliament with those kind of guys. I told you before, these guys will take stuff, take bills to the House Assembly, and who has to explain it for them? The great man has to explain it for them. Solutions, are you stupid?
I think with that sovereign fund thing, they need to spend more time on it because there's nothing new under the sun. And there are countries that have tried it and have run into some very serious problems.
So Garfield Sobers, let me say this to you. As the great man said, there's only about 4 or 5 countries that have that sovereign fund. There's only about 4 or 5 of them. And those are oil countries. Those countries are filthy rich. What do we have? Though, I always think that our biggest resources are our people. And the only man that can bring all that out of the people is the great man, Salah Michael Shafty. Well, what do we have? The World Sovereign Fund. What do we have? What do we have for Sovereign Fund? They got a reserve. They got nothing in the reserve. Nothing. They got nothing there.
Yep. Yeah, man. I want to show the people something that I have online there. So,
okay.
But thank you so much.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
The CIP has an injunction, so they look at another way to bring in larger, to bring in millions and billions. And the solution saying, yay, that guy is right. You have to give the SFB, the Mogus gang action all the way. No talking. Stop the talking.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Have a nice day, sir.
That was Mr. Bermuda. So, folks, let's go over to another article from, I believe this one is from the Daily Beast. Let's go over there to the Daily Beast, all right? Oh, Beast. All right, let's remove the lower third. And it says, I quote, let's just look at this. These are major players in the media, all right? And for people to think, or the SOP to think that is just a few people with propaganda and blah, blah, blah. This has gone beyond propaganda. And like we said, it's proposed, it's a leaked draft that is on its way over to the president. And for those of us who understand how the president move, I believe that we will see some problems if the president would accept the draft as it is. I think we would see some major problems in some of these countries. In the case of St. Lucia and Dominica, and some other few more countries who are on the, I believe is the yellow list, or they would have to make some adjustments, and we don't know what these adjustments are, but we look forward to when, if this is accepted by Mr. Trump, that we would know as a people, the government would share it with us, some of the changes that are necessary. And I believe it will also expose this whole CIP discussion that we've had before, and maybe those recommendations, maybe some of the problems that we've had with our CIP, we would see it showing up on the list for recommendations. And once we see that, we'll have another conversation about the leadership of the country and their stubbornness. But here we go. This is from the Daily Beast, and that was, I think that was 3 minutes ago. Let's go and hear what it is saying. Let's read. So President Trump is considering targeting citizens of up to 43 countries. A new travel ban, according to officials familiar with the matter. The New York Times report. So individuals who are close to the president are confirming that there is a strong possibility that we'll be seeing 43 countries on a list for restrictions, and some given time to deal with their issues. Now, I am beginning to think that Cuba, the relations between St. Lucia and Cuba, is going to show up on those recommendations, of course. Also our CIP, because like we read earlier, the United States are concerned about individuals who they have banned, countries that they have banned, using loophole to get around these restrictions. And so they're using small countries who are selling, these access, that's what it is, to the United States. And we are just in for a very rough ride based on what we are reading, based on the trend that we're following, or the trend that we're following. I believe that we're in for a very, very rough ride. And not only on the point of immigration, we also see that there will be some financial hardship. We're going to see some issues with the cost of living in the world. And who normally suffer the most in these situations? It is always small countries in the region, small developing countries that have not done enough for their own food security. They are still dependent on outside handout or orange juice from neighboring countries, or flour and rice from neighboring countries, and not able to look, St. Vincent alone. St. Vincent right now is trying to open another factory in their country, sugar, flour, whatever it is. They're going after another factory again. And meanwhile, in St. Lucia, what do we have? Chemical and Bounty. Chemical and Bounty rum. What else do we have? I know that there might be one or two others, but what do we have really that can contribute towards the food security in our country? We put a lot of energy into the rum production, and we saw a big fight between Canada and the United States when it comes to rum. And we saw another fight between the United States and Europe when it comes to alcohol. But how are we going to navigate through this crisis? And that's the concern. That's the question that are out there. We look at our government, honestly, and just look at the House, how they debate bills. It's all about an individual, bitterness, hatred, and there's no real thinkers, I believe, individuals who would put aside all the smoke and all the bitterness and just deal with what is before us. What is before us, how it's going to impact our country, how it's going to impact individual families. What are the potential downfall or downside to these bills that we are passing? And I mean, I hate to see politicians come to the House and then they're making 120 amendments, or they come and they don't even understand what they are debating, and so they switch over to propaganda or assassination of some people's character, or tell you that you're white, you're pink, you're black, but they just don't understand, it seems, some of these things that they're bringing forward in the House, and they just pass things because somebody peddle an idea and say, push that, push that, push that. Everybody has an agenda, and I am very concerned that we are not doing enough. And if the government, enough when it comes to CIP, if the government would say to us that, yeah, we do so much, I would say to you, hold your too much. You have not done anything as far as we're concerned, because you have not showed us, you have not said anything to us, basically. So you expect us to read your minds and see what we can't see, that you are doing so much. Communication is the key. If you are saying that you are doing something or making corrections to CIP, let us know, show us. A matter of fact, where is the last CIP report? Where is it? Why is it late? Where is it? Question with the CIP office. Who is leading over there? What is going on over there? And so the people don't know. And we're not expecting you to come and tell us a lot of things. But we can look forward to you on the stage telling us about Mr. Chastney and the United Workers' Party supporters are enemies of the state if they support him. And young people are enemies of the state. The enemy of the state is reflected in this draft proposal. It means that you're not minding your business. You're busy telling the United Workers' Party who should be their leader and who should not be their leader, while there is a big storm sitting in Washington with your name signed on it. And you couldn't tell us about that. And how I know you guys know something is when you run ahead and you say, Alan Shaston want to destroy CIP so we would not have roads and hospitals and we would not have... That's how we know that you know something. Because you always run ahead to throw the hot potato in somebody's lap. It's not me, huh? He wants to destroy our country, and I see St. Lucians who should know better walking around. Shaston wants to destroy St. Lucia and our CIP, and he's saying bad things about it, and he rejoicing, and that's what you hear. That's what you hear. That's the discussion. That's the level of discussion in the country. So my question would be, how are we preparing from Friday to now to deal? And it is okay to go in a Catholic church in Grosley and don't want to shake the opposition hand, Mr. Pear. That reflects on you. Well, the opposition leader, he walked over from his seat. You were busy fixing your tie and straightening out your jacket. Maybe expecting a photo op moment. I don't know. But all that will not fix the many problems. And brethren, I pray that there is no restriction on the country. Because let's say there's a restriction and there's a change of government, that new government will have to dance. They will have to play. They will have to deal. And that new government will no longer be able to say, it's fair. Is the SLP? No. Once you take that wheel, you better start working. Because you cannot come back to the citizens and say, well, we told you all that everything was messed up, you know. And no. Because if you go in and you knew before you got in that things were messed up, then you better go in with a plan to fix the mess upness on day one, if that's a word. And that's why I go back to politicians, those on the United Workers' Party side, whose names who were accepted as candidates for the United Workers' Party. If you are not ready, get out now. And I don't want nobody to come here and tell me, we have the best candidates. No, get out now. If you're not a worker, get out now. Get out now while you can. So you would not have to live in disgrace. Get out now. And I don't give a hoot what anyone says. If you're not up to the job, get out. And if you don't understand the crisis that are before us, and it's more about you, get out. We won't get mad with you or anything. Just get out nicely, quietly. Just say, I have a toothache, a headache. I won't be able to do this. Just sell us something. Say something. I can't see through one eye. My nose block up. Just say something. Get out. So that real men and women who understand the cause can be able to run with the horsemen on day one. Because if you're still running with the footmen, then you have a problem, because it's horsemen we're dealing with. We got to move fast and swift with horsepower, because we are way behind on the things that should have been done. We are still trying to open St. Jude's in time for an election and not in time for the people. You understand what I'm saying? We have attached the St. Jude's Hospital to a date for elections. How does that reflect your idea that we're for the people? You're for yourself. You're for yourself. You are for yourself. Caller, I'm just doing a rant. I'll call you back. You for yourself. And I don't care what your name is or are or who you're connected to. If you're not prepared to ride that horse, get out. Because I'm not going to sit here, waste my time, and then we have candidates who you have to drag along. You got to drag them along. You got to baby them, and you got to hope that they don't say anything stupid. You got to hope that they don't trip over themselves or trip over their past. Because if your past is a lot of luggage, a lot of baggage, I would say to you, get out. Because I'm not carrying no luggage for nobody. We don't have time to carry luggage. We have a nation to build. Take your luggage somewhere else. And if you have repented of your past sins, go deal with your church, your priest, your pastor. But in this thing, is about workers. It is about working from day one. So, and I'm very passionate about this, because as I understand and I get information and people call me, and as I get documents and see evidence of what is needed or what is lack thereof, I see no space for error. I see no space for a bunch of players. What I see is the need for workers. Because I ain't coming here to baby anybody and to pat people's ego and to make you feel, don't worry. No. If you gotta take the blows, get out. Because blows will come. Because the things that need to be done in the country, blows will come as you do them, because they are crucial, they are difficult decisions that must be made that might cause you your seat. So if you're not willing to sacrifice your seat, but get what needs to be done, then you ain't ready for prime time. You ain't ready for prime time. So I will make this declaration again, this statement again. If you are not ready, bow out, because I too will be on you like a tick. Because we ain't babying anyone here. Not going to baby anyone. And I don't care what your name is, what it starts with or ends with. You can start with Pope and end with Pope. You ain't ready. We're not babying you. But for those who are just joining, and we will close soon, there's a live program coming on from the United Workers' Party. So you need to get your devices recharged, of course. We're following some developments. They are not actual United States policy as yet. They are proposals that were leaked that are heading over to Washington for final approval. We found out that the name of St. Lucia, Sister St. Lucia, is on the list. Yeah? And Dominica, the cousin, is on the list too. The government put out a notice, a statement, not the government. The Prime Minister writes something on his private Facebook page saying that we heard something is said out there, and we have already asked our people in Washington to find out what is happening and tell us. When Martinez was telling you all, did you all ask your people in Washington to find out what in the world was going on? When Mr. Martinez invited you guys to Washington, did you ask your ambassador to go over to his office and see what is going on over there? Is it real or not? Did you engage your office in Washington on these matters? Did you try to ensure that the United States government did not receive some of the evidence, but you would have had it and would have dealt with not the repairs, but the correction that needed? You could have just dealt with the corrections from your end from day one. You think you can call Washington and ask your office to go up to Congress and Trump and tell Trump, don't do it all, we will fix it? That's not how it works. That's not how it is done. Trump ain't going to listen to you. You got to bring gold and everything else and oil to Trump. So if I were you, from tonight, I start digging somewhere in Soufrière of Beaufort, see if there's oil out there. When you're negotiating with Trump, what you going to tell Trump you will offer him? What do you have to you got to stand up as a region. What are you going to tell him? We have some white sand and some black sand down the road. We have a big piton up in Soufrière. That's why we got to be very careful when we implement policies. We got to be careful with our practices, make sure that they meet international standards, whether it's in banking, whether it's in security, whether it's in the police force, whether it's in our justice system, whether it's at our passport office, because you cannot stand as a country on your own. You can't stand on your own. You can't. You just can't. And the best policy is to follow the best practices on the international stage. And that's why Mr. Shastin wanted to bring the Cayman Island people in to ensure that they give us the best practices and stuff out there when it comes to healthcare and management, so that we can meet with international standards. Our security force, police go on the platform. The following day, he's promoted from his office. The following day, promoted. 3 of them promoted. Promoted. So for those other police officers, if you want to be promoted, you better go sing on the United Workers' Party platform. And I'm going to say that again to you police officers who are stuck in rank. If you want to be promoted the following day, you go sing a calypso on a United Workers' Party platform. And the next day you will be where you want to go. Go try it. And see how it works. Because that's what our commissioner says. It's not about that. We just promote them. We just promote our people. That's how we promote them. They sing a nice calypso and we promote them. We love calypso. Make calypso great again. But the world is watching. And I'm going to say it again, the best practice or the best safeguards for our nation is to follow best practices on the international stage. And you as a government want to ensure that the democracy of the people is intact, that free speech is protected, that people's rights are protected under the Constitution, and that you do not violate or appear to be violating them. The world is watching. The world is watching. And the music is on. But I call in all St. Lucians. Let's come together and protect this nation. Let's come together and hope for the best. Because what we're hearing doesn't sound good. Even though it's a draft proposal and it can change, it's not sounding good for the nation. No one should be having any party in celebration on this matter. It's too serious for that. It is too serious to be discussed lightly. It is too serious. The consequences are too great for the country, the nation. It will not only impact the SLP government or Mr. Pear, the Prime Minister, it will affect every St. Lucian. And we all are in this together. Du vent a somme. We are all in this together. And that's why some of you need to respect this platform and other platforms. You may not like what we are saying. It might not be in favor of your government or your party. But sometimes the discussion is hard, but it is necessary. Maybe the government needs to start listening a little more to the criticism, the concerns, the other side of the discussion, and have a balance. And let the people win. When the people win, the people are glad. And so I'm disappointed in the Prime Minister not shaking the hands of the opposition in church. And I tell you, if I was a priest of that church, you ain't coming back there. I don't care who you are. The least you could have done was stretch your hands and put on your plastic smile and shake the hand of the brother in the public so that the world can see that there are two individuals in opposition and a prime minister shaking hands, and it would have sent some sort of signal to the other citizens who are cursing each other mother and their cousins. But you miss that beautiful moment, opportunity to show some form of unity. You blew it. You did not shake the hands of the opposition leader in church. And I'm sure you took communion. Well, I'm guessing because I saw the priest breaking communion. So I'm sure you went up with your hands folded like Jesus and you push your mouth out to receive Holy Communion, but you're not talking to your brother. You know what the Bible says about communion? If you take it unwittingly, you're blighting yourself. You're bringing death, damnation on yourself. Because you can't take the body of Christ and you hate your brother. You're not willing for reconciliation. The man had an opportunity for reconciliation. In the Adventist church, we wash feet. We humble ourselves. We wash each other's feet. He didn't ask you to wash Chastity's feet whether it's dirty or clean. They didn't ask you all to wash each other's feet. So all you had to do was to stretch your hands. But you went and I'm sure if you took the communion, I'm just saying, if you took the communion, sir, if you took the communion, and you had an opportunity for some form of, friendly gesture, then that communion is going to ride you. You know, like when you have acid reflux at night and it's coming up, it will ride you all night, that piece of bread. What you all call it? Lusty. That name need to change from lusty to lovely. Because the body of Christ represents love, unity, forgiveness, compassion. But you couldn't help yourself, of course. So I'm waiting to hear whether you took that communion on Sunday, and I'll have a conversation with the priest. You need to stop the nonsense if you took it. Because once I saw that I pulling two of you in the back, come in the back, confession, both of you, one time, come. Why you didn't shake the man's hand? You know you can't take communion today, right? That's what I would be saying to you. And I will say to you, take the back door and run, because it will look bad you sitting there and you have no communion. So take the back door and exit. It is time for us to help our leaders to be better. It's not all the time you walk around. Talk to each other. And that's why I give Mr. Kenny Anthony a plus. To see him and Shastney communicating together, sitting together, talking together, having a drink together, that's a good thing. We need to see more of that in our country. What we need not to see is what we saw today. What we saw today represents something deep in the heart of our leaders, and somebody said during Lent it happened, during Lent, in the church, I don't know if he took communion, but if he did, honestly, I blame the priest. If the priest didn't see what happened, somebody should have brought it to his attention. Somebody should have said, Mr. Priest, or whatever you call the priest, Mr. Sir, the opposition went over to Prime Minister, and Prime Minister refused to shake his hand. And if I was the one officiating, whole service la croise, because I stop it right there. I stop the service and I do another half an hour sermon. I would stop the service and have another half an hour sermon. Or I will drink all the wine by myself and eat all the bread by myself. Samuel the guy there. Because you can't tell me you participated in communion, what is called in the Catholic Church a holy sacrament, but there is no love in your heart. Now, Lou Brain, I'm not saying anything affect the church. I'm not saying this reflect the Catholic Church. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. I am in no way saying one man don't one. You said, and I'm going to read it. You says, Lubrain, the action of one man does not define the Catholic Church. I never said that. It's not what I said. I said if I was the one leading another half an hour service until you get it, and I will keep going and going and going until you get it. Or if you're not getting it, I would eat all the bread and drink all the wine all by myself. Because I'm not going to have you to pappy show the body of Christ. I'm giving you the communion, and I saw you. A man stretched his arms to you, and you didn't even take it. It means that you're not even talking to him privately, it seems. Because if you're not shaking his hand, it means that you have not even spoken to him for the year, it seems. And both of you are leaders in the country. One opposition, one thing. It seems like you guys are not talking. And it will confirm what we are seeing in public, that our house, our assembly, is a place of hateful birds. It's about bitterness, hatred, anger, and all kind of stuff that we do not want in the country. It brings blight, decay, and destruction in the nation. Do you understand that? So it confirms what happened in the church today. If we are right, that what we are seeing in the house is a reflection of what we saw in the church. And somebody got to say this, friends. Somebody got to say this. Somebody got to speak the truth about this situation here. The Church of God must not be used. The communion should not be pappy showed with. And it is time for religious leaders to put politicians in their place. We had one walking into the church and disturbing the service and was defended and protected. And we see that over and over, the disrespect of the church. And I think it was disrespect in the house of God today. One on the left, one on the right. One shake the hand, the other one refuse. And in the house of God. Why do you go to church to fall asleep? For politics? Why? So that's my rant on that. That's my rant on that, friends. And I'm not apologizing for that. I spoke the truth. I spoke the truth. Bible says if you take the communion unworthily, you are bringing condemnation, sickness, and it says that's why many have fallen asleep. That's biblical. And the Bible says if you bring your gifts to the altar and you know you have odd with your brother, he said, take your gift, go fix yourself and come back. If you come to the altar, it says, the Bible, and somebody have odd against you, all have quarrel, you have an issue, it says go fix your issue with your brother and come. I wouldn't even take your offering. But that's me, I'm not a priest, so I could consider you got away with it. But first I'm going to read your comments and then we're gone. You know how much hours I give you all today as a bonus? Let's read your comments. And to all those who are viewing, thank you so much for your patience with me, for being here with me today. Our YouTube channel is loaded over there. Thank you so much for our viewers on our YouTube page. Let me just read it. Elizabeth is saying, but he did that to Shas also. That's what I'm saying. Ruben says if Stephen Queen was asked to bend... Oh no, I should not have read that. Duncan says, disrespectful. He should have stayed at his house. Evil heart. Georgia says, I agree with you. The priest saw the one in white, tap the one in purple when it happened. Oh, I'm going to look at the video again. I'm going to look at it again. Imagine that he bought his hatred in the church. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. They are feeling shas. They can't handle him. Okay, and Pearl says that you have me laughing loud. Tears running. Sorry. My friend, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Pearl, for having you crying in your house on this big Sunday. Why, man, why is me up? I'm sorry, folks. Deborah said they stretch their tongue out long like goats to receive communion. Sorry about that. Was funny so much. Sorry. She said they stretch their tongue. Reverend, any one of you taking communion, make sure that you don't hate your brother and hate your sister. Make sure that you're not a gagé a machinoué when you're taking communion. That's all I can tell you. Because what you're looking for, you will not be able to handle it. You hear me? Whether now or later on. Whole call back I bon. And that's true. Don't play with communion. I don't care what church you're from. Do not play with communion. If you hate your brother, don't touch the communion. Don't touch it. And maybe the church, the Catholic Church, needs to speak that a little more. Tell them the truth about communion. Tell them the truth. Don't make them come and push out their tongue full of hatred and bitterness. They just cuss off their neighbor, all kind of F-note, all kind of nastiness, and their tongue long in front of the priest. Not even your hands, I put it. Yeah. I don't have Mr. Ellis' voice note. Is there a voice note? Is there a voice note? Well, man, Reverend, I finished that. Done. Story done. Let's see if we find that voice note. Where's the voice note? Somebody said there's a voice note out there. Where's the voice note? Somebody send me the voice note. Okay, my signal just come on for me to drink water. Where is the voice note? Okay, let me see if I can. Somebody send it. Reverend, give me a minute, folks. We have a voice note. The UWP is coming on now. So let's play the voice note quickly. Where's the voice note? Oh, looks, boy, my viewers are not playing, boy. Voice note in our skin here, Reverend. Wow. It came in like 100 people said it one time. Well, ma'am. Let's go. Wow. Voice note. So I have to.
Good afternoon, members of Castries North. This is your chairman, Lionel Ellis. Today, the United Workers' Party was invited to a church service at the Gosley Church in honor of the Jubilee. The government side, the Prime Minister and his ministers and members of the St. Lucia Labour Party was on one side, in the front of the church, in front of the altar, and the UWP side, headed by Alan Chasney, was on the left side at the front of the church, right opposite to the St. Lucia Labour Party. The eulogy, the preaching was done by the Archbishop, Father Malzer, and he spoke about unity, he spoke about the political parties. He announced in the church that he's invited both sides, the government and the opposition, for the sake of the country. And in a form of unity, we were there. During the signing of, during the declaration of peace, Father Malzier invited the congregation to give each other a sign of peace. Mingle and shake as is normally done in all the churches that I've been to. The United Workers' Party went over to the Labour Party side, from the front row to the back, to greet and wish them peace, give them a sign of peace by shaking hands, some hugging, etc., etc. I followed the political leader, the chairman, and behind me was the representative for Gozele, Marcella Johnson, and Mr. Chico from Castries East. We went across the front row, the closest row to the altar. And while some of the Labour parties may have played, they didn't see hands outstretched to greet them, I can only assume that they didn't see hands outstretched. When I got in front of Stevenson King, when I, Lionel Ellis, got in front of Stevenson King and I stretched my hand out to give him the sign of peace, he said to me in the loudest tone so that the representative behind me can hear, "I do not want to shake your hand. I will not shake your hand." He repeated it twice. That was a shock to me, because here is Stevenson King, who hardly misses church, who sits in the front row, and 2 minutes later had his tongue stretched out to receive Holy Communion by the same Archbishop, can look at somebody who is not a Catholic, who has come to the church, and decide to shake hands in the sign of peace, can say to him, "I do not want to shake your hand." Now, it is a very sad reflection on people like him, who claims that he has been disrespected. I am not King's competition. I'm not going up against King. I'm not the candidate against Castries for the United Workers' Party. Mr. Stephen Favre is the candidate. He may not like me. He may have his differences. But in the sight of God, in the sight of the church, Stevenson King has disrespected the Archbishop. He's disrespected the values in the Catholic Church. And he's disrespected the government as a minister in government. And if there are others like him who refuse to shake the political leader's hand or refuse to shake anybody's hand as positioned in the closest position to the altar, then it says something about Catholics. It says something about a man going to church every day. It says a man who believes that he's a Christian. And it says a lot about Stevenson King, who is not worth his grain of salt. That's a hypocritical act that he did today. The last time it was said it was a prodigious act to trick Alan Chasney. But for goodness sake, the man is in the front row, the first row from the altar, refusing to give somebody the sign of peace and saying it loud enough to my face and to other people who were nearby that he doesn't want to shake my hand. It says a lot about Stevenson King. Here's a man that claimed he was rejected or he was insulted or disrespected. But Stevenson King, if you listen to this voice note, you have disrespected yourself. Not shaking my hand is not a big thing for me. It shows your values. It shows your worth. If you're going to do that in the sight of God, in the front of your church that you go to, And then 2 minutes later, you're going to stretch out your tongue to receive Holy Communion. It says a lot about you. And I hope Father Malzer hears this clip, because you've insulted him, you've insulted your church. And I want the world to know the type of man you are. I, Lionel, is not afraid to shake your hand, and I have a lot of more godly love in you than you can ever portray as a minister. Have a good day, Stevenson King. You're not honorable. Thank you.
Oh, whoa. Folks, I didn't know about this one either. This one is a wow. This one, wow. That's all I can say. This one just blew the air out of me, to tell you the least. Reverend, I don't know what to say. I'm going to end the live so that we can get on to the United Workers' Party live feed tonight. But St. Lucians, I've always spoken to you about a reset. You got to reset. You must reset your government. You must, for the sake of your children, your grandchildren, for the sake of St. Lucia, you must reset. Let these men go and deal with their soul salvation. Politics is not the place for them. And the church, I think the Catholic Church, and I'm going to put some fire on the Catholic Church, you got to encourage unity. You got to tell the people, don't come for communion, talk to them. Put away the incense, put away everything. Talk to people, talk to them, especially politicians, talk to them. Because based on what the man, and I'm sure Mr. Ellis is not lying or misleading, I am sure of that, the man said the man refused, and then he goes and pushes his tongue out. And you put the bread on his mouth, on his tongue, on his, whatever you put it under. Anyway, I just present to you your politics, St. Lucia, and I present to you the many issues that are before you. Pay attention. All right, so get yourself charged up for the next live. I believe that is from the United Workers' Party. Wow, folks, I'm gone. Wow, goodbye. Thank you for being here. Wow, mercy. Wow. Wow. Goodbye, folks. My God, these people.